We are in day 23 of this shutdown, a shutdown that is sowing more uncertainty across our country by the day. It is one that is leaving our nation vulnerable to adversaries abroad and seeing our service members left wondering if their next paychecks will go through as they seek not only to protect us, but to support their families. A shutdown that my colleagues and I on the Republican side of the aisle voted for or against over a dozen times. We are trying to end this shutdown, yet we are blocked at every point. Along with a few, very few, courageous Democrats, we voted for a bipartisan continuing resolution to fund the government. The opposing Democrats do so while knowing they are voting against paying our troops for our security, against paying law enforcement for safety, and against paying so many other people that are necessary for critical functions. They vote no. Republicans have voted to eliminate future shutdowns to pay our service members and other essential federal workers and for a full year of funding our military. And yet each time these same colleagues blocked the efforts. They have now resorted to outright obstruction. I am the newest U.S. Senator from Florida, one of the newest U.S. Senators for our country. I've been here 9 months, and I am disgusted that we have colleagues coming in here voting against continuing funding, reciting poetry. They are putting poetry over paying our troops. Since my arrival in Washington, I have watched every single effort by the Democrats to oppose the will of the American people, to undo the outcome of the election, attempting to paralyze not only the administration, but our policy goals to get this country back on the right track. Now these tactics have evolved into obstructing government itself, to hold the pay of federal law enforcement and our military hostage, let alone the thousands of other federal employees who continue to show up and fulfill their duties without pay. Shockingly, even senators with states that have large federal workforces have set aside the interests of those families beholden to some radical agenda. I implore my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to remember the effects of this shutdown go well past the boundaries of D.C. In my home state of Florida, we're seeing crisis centers which serve veterans, law enforcement officers, first responders, some of our most vulnerable that encounter hardships, all because of colleagues have refused to open the government. In fact, I have committed to donating my salary every day the government is shut down to a crisis center in Florida because they are suffering as this continues to go on. The choice is simple for my colleagues at this point. Either you stand for this country, for our service members, and for actually governing this nation, or you stand against that. And finally, I want to take a moment to thank every single federal employee continuing to work without pay. Our service members, federal law enforcement officers, Coast Guard members, air traffic controllers, so many others, including our own staff, including the staff on the Senate floor that show up and stay up all night as the Democrats recite poetry. Thank you for showing up without pay. Thank you for your patriotism, your work ethic, your embrace of duty and commitment to this nation. Throughout history, it is the selfless work of patriots that help build and sustain this incredible country of ours. And I look forward to the day, Mr. President, when our colleagues on the other side of the aisle cease with their partisan games, that they put governing for the people back as their #1 priority, that they remember it is an incredible responsibility they undertook when they took the oath to become a senator. I hope they remember that they were trusted to do this in good faith on behalf of the people. And I hope that they join us in reopening the government. They join us in our bipartisan, clean, continuing resolution to reopen the government. That is the only way forward, and it is the sole path available to continue our work on behalf of the American people. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield back.